Yo, what's up, guys? We're back for another week of breakdown and predictions videos. Last week, we gave you guys a great call in the main event with Nasruddin Imavov. We gave you guys a good, most confident pick on the Contender Series card that cashed. We won some money on Patreon last week for the patrons that bet on Contender Series with me. So if you want access to my bets, I do got 3 bets already for this card. I'm probably going to add a couple props. I think this is a decent betting card. So go get access at patreon.com/MMA Prediction Guru. But hit the like button, put a comment down below, and let's get into these fights, man. First fight of the night, Felipe Franco. He's taking on Freddy Vidal, and really low-level fight. I mean, Freddy Vidal, he is, I believe, the 3rd or 4th opponent scheduled to fight Felipe Franco on this date, so they obviously had to dig deep, and he's getting to cut the line because he's affiliated with Sarah Longo Fight Team. Vidal's only 3-0, but obviously, they must feel that he's somewhat ready for a UFC shot. He has 8 total fights because he did have 5 amateur fights as well, and he's 8-0 overall, so he's never lost. He was the Flex Fights amateur champion, and his last 2 wins as a pro, he got first-round knockouts in Flex Fights as well, so that's kind of been the promotion he's fought in more often than not. The level of competition has been really low, and this is going to be a significant step up. He's coming off a victory over a 2-4 fighter. Now he's fighting somebody that's 8-0 as a pro. And you look at Sandoval style-wise, though, he's a dog. I mean, or Freddy Vidal, excuse me. He had a fun back-and-forth fight with Jarrell Cromartie that went back and forth. Both guys got pretty fatigued, but we saw that Freddy was able to survive an armbar in the first. He got taken down in the second, but he kind of won that round, and then in the third round, his opponent didn't want to come out for the third, so Sandoval got, I keep calling him Freddy Sandoval, Freddy Vidal got the victory, and, it wasn't super impressive, but it just showed that he's a dog. He's not going to tap quick, and you really have to get him out of there, but his victory to win the Flex Fights 205-pound belt, that wasn't really very impressive. He fought an overmatched opponent. He landed a bomb on him, closed the distance, and then just took him out with knees against the fence. His most recent fight I could find was at Flex Fights 43. It was kind of similar to that fight. Closed the distance, made it a clinch battle, and he seems pretty weak on the feet overall. He kind of just uses pressure and flurries to get his grappling going. But he ended up getting Mike Lee to the mat, who was his opponent, stopped him with ground and pound. Overall, I wasn't that impressed with Freddy Vidal, but he looks like he has decent grappling. If he can outlast you and have more heart than you, he could finish you, and he's a tough dude. But Felipe Franco, 24-year-old kid who's fighting and training out of Brazil. He trains out of the same gym as Jalton Almeida, and being a heavier weight fighter, he probably is getting good work in with Carlos Biggie Boy, with Almeida, with Rafael Sarkara, among others. This is his first fight in the United States and first fight outside of Brazil. It's also the first non-Brazilian opponent that Franco will have fought as well. And Franco's level of competition has been extremely bad also. He hasn't fought in over a year. He was committed to fighting on this date, though, because this is the 3rd opponent, like I said, scheduled to face him on this event. And Freddy Vidal is not that experienced at 3-0, but Franco's last 2 opponents were 0-1, so this is a step up for Franco. And so far, it's been easy money for Franco. Whenever he stepped in the cage, he has 8 finishes, all in round 1. And he has gone 5 minutes one time, but the opponent didn't answer the bell for round 2. Besides that, his longest fight is 4 minutes and 4 seconds. And he has a mixture of knockouts and submissions, but the vast majority of his wins come on the ground. On the feet, he looks athletic. He'll move around, but he doesn't really open up much. It's mostly feints to back fighters up and then shoot on them. He only throws with the lead hand as far as punches go from what I've seen as well. But he's explosive with his double leg. He could slam you. And on top, he usually works to the back. He could stop the fight from there. And I don't personally see how someone could be that confident on either fighter here. Seeing Franco being a minus 315 is a little bit wide of a line if you ask me, but Felipe Franco looks a little more athletic, a little more technical. He's been fighting completely overmatched opponents, so it's hard to know if he's going to face adversity well or be able to take damage, but the reason why I'm leaning towards Franco is because both fighters like to grapple, and Franco's more technical in that area. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, he's a brown belt in judo, probably has better big men training partners to grapple with as well, so he should take it, and I'm going to predict a first-round ground and pound from the back mount for Felipe, Franco, and most likely a contract. And the next fight we have on the docket is Chasen, Blair, and Samuel Sanches. And Chasen Blair, he's back for take 2 on Contender Series. Last year, it didn't go so well for him. He got this short notice call, and he took on Cody Steele. He started decently, and he actually probably won the first and was winning the second, but you saw he was getting fatigued and ended up getting stopped in the second round with body punches. He did bounce back. He got a win in April at Cage Warriors 188, and now he's back on the show, and he's 7-3. He's won 4 of his last 5. Samuel Sanches, 22-year-old Brazilian fighter. He's representing the same gym as the last Brazilian we talked about, Felipe Franco, Galpo de Luta, which is the gym that Almeida trains at. But he's a smaller guy. He fights at 155, so I don't know if he has the same quality of training partners, but he's at a good gym. And he's 10-1. He's been fighting on small regional shows in Brazil, and this is a step up. It's safe to say Sanchez's record is padded, and he's never fought someone of the caliber of Chasen Blair. But Samuel Sanches is an athletic fighter. He has good length. He's fast. He's evasive on the feet. Good lead hand offense. His jab, his check hooks are his main weapon. In the pocket, he will throw hard hooks. He hits hard. His timing and accuracy are good. He's solid at getting guys out early with timing. Good pressure. He holds his hands low, but he'll block punches with his shoulder. He'll slide in and out of range. His kicks are on point. He'll throw hard round kicks, front kicks to the body. Leg kicks aren't bad. He can be low volume, but he's accurate. And sometimes he will fall into the clinch, but he is fairly technical. His wrestling defense hasn't been tested all that much, but he looks like a strong kid. He defended some takedowns in recent fights. He does let guys who I don't feel is that high level get in and out of his legs really easy. And he did get taken down in the 3rd round, even though he bounced right back up of his last fight. But his most recent fight, he actually got a takedown himself, and we've seen him do that in other fights, but he got heel hooked in one of his losses when he got a takedown, and I don't know if he wants to wrestle with Chasen Blair, but Sanches comes in good shape, so he could fight hard for the duration. He also trains out of a grappling gym, so you have to think he knows what he's doing on the mat, but I've yet to see him have to fight off bottom for any prolonged periods or even really be on top and be effective. In this fight, he's facing by far the best wrestler he's ever fought, and Blair has a submission game too, so it's an intriguing matchup. Chasen Blair, he's an entertaining fighter to watch. He has 7 wins, 7 finishes, 6 in the first round. He's only been in a decision once, and he probably should have won, but he lost a controversial split decision. He's only 1-2 in fights that have gone past the first round in his career, though, and he got tired against Cody Steele on the show last year. But he, on the feet, is mobile, good lateral footwork. He'll pull fighters into check hooks, overhands, closes the gap quickly. He's powerful. He'll throw solid kicks as well. If he's being pressured, which I believe he will in this fight, his kicks aren't going to be that effective, but if he could time some calf kicks, it could be beneficial for him. Fighters are aware he could wrestle too, so it helps him land over the top, and he has solid power. He's dangerous, especially early. Defensively, he doesn't move his head, and he leaves his chin high. He relies more on his ability to move side to side and wrestle, plus blitz in with power to kind of mask his defensive issues. But if you could walk him down and make it more of an ugly fight, that's where Blair could start to fall apart. But Chasen Blair should have a big edge on the mat. He has a college wrestling background, so he could wrestle, he could scramble well. He also is able to jump on submissions quickly. His last 3 wins are all via submission. Samuel Sanches has not had his wrestling and grappling tested much at all in recent fights, so I think Blair has to wrestle first and test that. He has the better movement too. I think he can use explosions and pull counters, but I'd slow down. And but if he slows down and lets Silva land some heaters, he could put himself in danger. So I think if he wrestles early, hits a submission, he doesn't need to worry about cardio. So I think Chasen Blair is just a bit further ahead in his progression here. On the feet, it likely will be very competitive, but even there, I kind of expect Blair to land the harder shots, be a bit more active. Blair should be able to mix in takedowns, use his wrestling as well, and if the pressure is getting to him, I think he will go that route and do it pretty easily. On top, he should be able to possibly get the submission. My prediction is Blair finds a takedown in round 1, gets the back, and if he could find the back, I think he can get the neck or set up another submission finish. So give me Blair submission round 1. If it goes past the first, I think it will get dicey for Blair backers, but I still expect him to be able to win a gritty decision if need be as well. But my prediction is Chasen Blair via first round submission. And up next here, we got an absolute banger between Teague and Lerryan Douglas. Lerryan Douglas, he's finally getting a shot to fight for the UFC. It used to be the case that if you won the LFA title, and especially if you defended it, you got to get your shot at the UFC. But Douglas, he won the LFA title in August of last year. He defended it in January, and he still has to go through the Contender Series to get a shot. But he has an ugly record. He's 12-5, so you can kind of overlook him. But his losses have been against good fighters, and he's tested himself throughout his career. He's also won 4 in a row and 5 of 6. And all 4 of Lerryan Douglas's wins in LFA, he was the underdog. So if he wins here, it should be time to start giving Douglas more respect. And the bookies already are. I mean, the guy's minus 500 in this spot. But Teague, he's another fighter on this card looking for redemption. He fought on Contender Series last September. He got knocked out in the first round, but he faced Kevin Vallejo, so it was a tough draw. And he's won 2 in a row since. Overall, Teague is 9-1, so he's been able to defeat everyone not named Kevin Vallejos and look impressive. And outside of Austin Lingo, though, his wins are really nothing to write home about. This probably will be his last chance to get into the UFC. And part of the reason for his opponent, Lerryan Douglas's career turnaround, is he aligned with the Bloodline Combat Sports. And when it comes to underrated gyms in the sport, I would argue Bloodline Combat is up there. It's manned by Cub Swanson. There's a lot of other UFC fighters there as well. Just some of the names that train there include Cub Swanson, Rafa Garcia, Danny Silva, Dan Argueta, fellow LFA champion Richie Miranda, beast wrestler Chris McCarthy, and other guys as well. But almost everyone out of that camp is in great shape. They're gritty, and Douglas is included in that. Douglas is an aggressive pressure fighter. He's a pace pusher. He holds his hands high. He tries to stay tight with his guard. He walks fighters down. He can cut the cage off well. He uses his pressure to draw out counters with his hooks. His hands are fast. He throws heat. And he has to be forward to be successful. When you push him backwards, he doesn't really have the same level of power. He can't kick. But you do have to be careful to avoid his hook counters. If you can press him, use kicks, come up the middle with shots, you can land. Douglas struggled quite a bit with the kicks of Isaac Thompson, but he did okay in round 1. But when Thompson felt Douglas slow down a little bit, started to pressure him, his kicks started to land clean. He landed a lot of body kicks and then eventually went up top and finished Douglas with a head kick. But since then, Douglas has came back and he looked much more loose in the stand-up. His head movement has improved. He has implemented better leg kicks. He's being a bit more patient and evasive. And he still brings the power. I was pretty impressed with Douglas on the feet. He does a good job attacking all levels, throws nice leg kicks, body kicks. He has a nice jab. He throws big power with his hooks and his overhands. He's patient. He finds his shots. And he's getting better at using his rips to the body to set up head strikes. If you let Douglas go forward, he's difficult to deal with. His power is intimidating. He pretty much froze a good fighter in Elijah Johns and then knocked him out. And he has serviceable takedown defense. I feel like if you have a really explosive shot, you possibly will be able to get Douglas down. But his sprawl isn't bad. He has heavy hips. He has a couple submission losses, but his last loss via submission was in 2018. When he fought good wrestlers in his last 2 fights, he's been able to keep it standing and find the knockout in the second round. So he was able to defend a body lock versus Elijah Johns in round 2 and reversed, got on top, and ground and pounded him out almost immediately after. So he showed that if you try to take him down, he could finish you as well. But conditioning for Douglas looked on point. He fights at a high pace. Teague, though, he's extremely fun to watch as well. He's an absolute dog. He tries to Homer Simpson you. Big fighter for the division. Normally, he's a good bit taller and longer than his opponents. But in this fight, though, Douglas, although 1 inch shorter, has a 3-inch reach advantage. But Teague, he's good at just eating shots, coming back with his own. He'll stay in your face. He's coming with counter crosses, uppercuts. He's sneaky fast with the hands, and he has good power. He'll put together some decent hand combinations when he can get going. And he pushes a crazy pace, too. Unless you can knock him out, you aren't going to get him to back up. And this fight, Teague will need to absorb some huge heat, though. I think Douglas is going to be able to land low kicks, body head punches, and he's shown one-shot power. So If Teague can eat the shots and back Douglas up, maybe he could fatigue him and go to work. But I think the body attack and other things could be detrimental for Cam Teague. But, I mean, I think this fight ending in a KO is almost a certainty. One of these guys is going to hit the canvas. Either Douglas is going to pick his shots and his power be too much for Cam Teague, or Cam Teague will break Douglas, start ripping his body, maybe find a knee up the middle or just overwhelm him. But personally, though, I think if Douglas goes to the body, just extends his combinations, he could put Teague out how Vallejos did. Teague has good offense. He's fast. He has heart. But at this stage, everyone has good offense. You need defense and more technicality, and that's the difference here. And I see Douglas finding the knockout within 2 rounds. So give me Lerryan Douglas. I'll say first round KO. And up next here, we got an amazing matchup between Shanelle Dyer and Carol Foro. And this one I get kind of annoyed with Contender Series in a way because both these girls should be in the UFC. They're way better than other fighters that are already in the company, but they're going to have to fight each other, and one of them is going to get denied. But Shanelle Dyer, one of the best female prospects out of the UK and even all of Europe. She was an impressive amateur. She did take some losses, but she went 8-3. She won multiple amateur titles. She won the Cage Warriors title. She was also able to start fighting at 18. So even though she's 24, she has a lot of experience. She went pro in 2023, and she's been dominant for the most part. 4 knockouts, 3 in round 1. She's 6-0. She's fought for Aries FC 3 times. She fought for the PFL. Her last fight, though, was almost a year ago. She had a fight in December, but she ended up pulling out, so she hasn't fought in a while. And the fight that she had against Valentina Scatizzi, she was a gigantic favorite, but it ended up being a split decision, and it was really competitive. So Dyer's coming in here kind of not with the greatest momentum, but Carol Foro, 8-1 Brazilian fighter. She's a striker. She's entertaining to watch, 6 knockout wins in a row, and she's been super active. She went pro in August of 23. She's already had 9 fights. This is her 3rd fight of the year. She's been fighting decent competition too. Her one loss was a split decision to Bea Consuli, who's an undefeated blue chip prospect, and she's come back. She won the Soldado combat title. She won the jungle fight title. Her last 2 fights, she beat a 3-1 fighter and a 7-2 fighter as well, so she will be confident and ready. And Foro is a striker first. She's light on her feet. She likes to cut angles. She'll move side to side. She'll work her jab. She has good kicks. She'll throw hard calf kicks. She has nice teeps, round kicks to the body, front kicks to the body. Her one of her recent knockouts, she even got a spinning back kick to the body. But Foro, when she wants to go forward, she's really good too, and I think that's what she's going to do in this fight. She cuts the cage off well. She'll go to the body with her kicks, with her punches. She uses her jab to set up the overhand. She has a good left hook. She'll block her slip and return to the pocket effectively. Her knees are nasty, and she stays calm. She has good stand-up. When she gets her range and gets her confidence, she'll start to swag out, hold her hands low, and use that to get fighters to throw so she could come back with her own strikes. She has fast hands, fast kicks. She could break fighters with her pressure, with her defense, with her counters, with her body attack. She's high volume, and in a striking fight, she doesn't really slow down. She wears on opponents, like I said, and she's finished the majority of her wins. The one issue I'd say is she's 5'2" with a 62-inch reach, which is really small for 125, but she has a background in karate, and she's had no problem kind of getting inside on these taller girls, but she's high level on the feet. And then you look at her as a grappler, her first game plan is always to strike, but she will punch her way into the clinch. She has decent clinch work. She'll try to circle to the back from standing, but she's not really going to look for takedowns. I don't think she will here either. If you do shoot on her, she has a good front headlock position as well. She has nice guillotine reversals, and she's smaller for the division, so when she does get taken down and kind of cemented on her back, it can be a problem for her. Like Bea Consuli was able to take her back in the 3rd round and kind of control her a little bit, but the first 2 rounds of that fight were very competitive, and I think in this fight, Foro's actually the better clinch fighter and better grappler. But Shanelle Dyer, her nickname is appropriate because she's a nightmare on the feet. She's tall for the weight division. She's wiry, strong, And just like Foro, Dyer is very aggressive. She has 5 knockout wins out of her 6 total wins. She has great pressure, amazing job of putting opponents on the back foot. Her kicks are extremely fast. She'll stay sharp and at her range. She pressures well, slams leg kicks, teeps to the body, hard round kicks, body head. She has great hands too. She'll attack the body and the head with her hands as well. And she's good at throwing in combination. She's good at landing and then getting back in the correct position to throw again. She has great balance. She's had some beautiful knockouts as well, just by extending combination. She's good at following her punches with kicks, and we've seen her get a nasty head kick in that way. And she has to use her speed and range to keep Foro at a distance where Dyer can hit her, but Foro can't land back. Dyer can't get backed up here because if Foro starts to land effectively with her body attack, she could find a big overhand or lead hook over the top, and sometimes Dyer can be lax with her head movement. She's very sharp and crisp with her stand-up, her footwork. She can maintain distance, but we saw in her fight with Valentina Scatizzi was able to use pressure and land some big bombs over the top, and she made Dyer turn into a wrestler in the second round and then made it really competitive in the third. And I think that Foro is a much better striker, especially with boxing, than Valentina Scatizzi. Dyer's head movement needs a lot of work, and she has to be able to either go forward and control the distance with her striking or skirt around and be really effective not getting backed up. I think it's going to be easier for her to pressure, but it's a hard matchup, honestly. And you look at Dyer, I mean, she's yet to taste defeat as a pro. As an amateur, she got finished on the ground 3 times in the third round. So seems like if you do have a grappling background, you can kind of wear on her. She will wilt, but that's not this matchup. In this matchup, Foro, she has to be super aggressive. She has to try to land her right hand over the top or turn with her own calf kicks to get inside, let the hooks go in range. If this becomes a dogfight, I edge it to Foro because I believe she's got better cardio in boxing. Foro just can't get over aggressive, give up an easy takedown, which is doubtful. I think she'll be able to stand back up even if she does get taken down too. And Dyer, though, she's going to be looking to pull Foro into punches, kicks, stay at her range. Foro needs to get in the pocket and let the hands go. She can't let Dyer pressure her or skirt around the cage. Getting Dyer backed up is going to be huge for Foro. Both these girls are known as finishers, but I could see this one going longer. If someone gets a finish, I think it may be Foro late. If it goes the distance, it's going to be really close, but I'm still kind of leaning Foro. I think both these fighters should be in the UFC and will be eventually. They're young, they're great prospects, but Foro's been more active. She's beaten better fighters. She's tested herself more. I think she's slightly better with her defense right now. Her conditioning is better. Her boxing is better, and I think she has the punch power edge too. The size is the only thing that gives Dyer a pretty significant advantage, and if Foro can't close that distance, it could end up playing out well for Dyer, but I'm going to go with Foro. I'm going to say she wins via decision, and I think a round 3 knockout is also live, but give me Foro to get the victory in this fight. And finally, last but not least, we got a heavyweight fight between Anthony Guarascio. He's taking on Steven Asplund. And Anthony Guarascio, he's taken on a short notice opponent with no hesitation. He is the CFFC heavyweight champion. He was going to fight a Brazilian guy, Guilherme Pat, but Pat had to withdraw, and now he's tasked with Steven Asplund. And Guarascio, he isn't that experienced. He's only 3-0, but he has 3 very quick knockout wins so far. His last fight, he fought Bailey Schoenfelder, who fought on Contender Series last year and knocked him out in 1 minute and 32 seconds. Steven Asplund, his opponent, has fought 6 times as an amateur, 6 times as a pro, and has never been knocked out. So this will be a tough test. And Steven Asplund, he's a big guy, 6'5". He had an obesity issue in the past and used MMA to lose weight and then fell in love with the sport, went pro. He's 27, so he's young for heavyweight. He's currently enjoying good success. He did suffer a loss, but it was against a good fighter, Denzel Freeman. Besides that, he's gotten the job done every other time out. He's on a 2-fight winning streak currently. And although he hasn't beaten any elite fighters, he's taken out some prospects. And fortunately for him, even though this is a short notice matchup, he was getting ready to fight September 12th versus another pretty good opponent in Jordan Heiderman. So it's a switch up in terms of going from a wrestler to a striker, but at least he's going to be in shape. But you look at these guys from a stylistic perspective. Anthony Guarascio, huge hitter. I've seen him sleep fighters with one punch even as he's moving backwards. His striking is a little bit awkward, but he's fast. He's short, compact. Looks like his boxing is getting a lot better. He'll use the jab effectively. He'll go to the body with it. Sets the right hand up well. He uses good feints too. In his one fight with Jerry Watterson, he did kind of get rocked, and Watterson was being wild, kind of just lumbering forward. But Guarascio, short-lived because he found the kill shot off the back foot and just slept Watterson with one punch. And he believes in his power. His boxing is getting pretty crispy. He has speed. We haven't really seen him have to fight long yet or someone try to take him down, but he's just an intense guy that goes in there trying to knock you out. He's also a fun character. I mean, you see he's got the tats on his face, Florida man thing going on, and he called out Muhammad Usman in his last post-fight interview. He was talking a lot of shit, so if he gets in the UFC, he'll make it at least fun on the mic. But Steven Asplund, big fighter who has good pressure, kind of just wild offense. To me, he has to close the space. He needs to look to put Guarascio on the fence, try to lean and wear on him. On the feet, he has decent hands. He'll throw from odd angles, kind of deceptive speed. He's tall, so it could be hard to hit him, but he leans back, and I think if he gets hit clean early, he could be put out cold. Until now, he's been able to take everything and absorb everything that fighters have thrown at him. He's never been knocked out. He also has more grappling footage than Guarascio, but he tends to give up his back. His takedown defense is not great. He doesn't really have takedown offense. He's just a good scrambler. He does have heart. I mean, he got beat up bad in his last fight on the mat. He got almost finished, but he was able to weather it, come back to win. His conditioning and toughness are probably his two best attributes. But Asplund seems like a sitting duck here for Guarascio to sniper shoot. Asplund's tough, but he's hittable. Big speed and athleticism disadvantage. And I just think he's going to be there to hit against the guy you don't want to get hit by. It is heavyweight. I've seen Guarascio kind of look like he was struggling versus a big lumbering heavyweight in the past. But just like that guy, I think Asplund runs into a punch and gets slept eventually. So round one knockout for Guarascio is my prediction. So there you have it, guys. That's the full card breakdown and predictions for Contender Series. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something from this video. As far as my most confident pick on this card, I guess I would go with Lerryan Douglas. But for the play of the week that I'm going to give you guys, I'm going to say to go with Chasen Blair. I think he's going to get the job done. He was an underdog. I think now he's a slight favorite, but all the way until like minus 160, minus 170, I think Blair is a decent play. So yeah, Chasen Blair for me is the play of the week for this card. And those were all the predictions. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Peace out.